if you find yourself kind of falling for people that are very self-absorbed, one thing that you really want to identify is, okay, I feel like I keep attracting people who are self-absorbed. What part of me actually likes that? Because there's the part of you right now that's saying, well, I reject it, I don't want that anymore. But if there's so much of it in your life, there's a certain part of you that likes it. And so you really want to get internal with yourself and be like what part of that maybe like sexually turns you on. Maybe there's some internal thing where it's like, oh, it's like kind of there's an attractive quality of that, of okay, that translates in this area of life. But you want to ask yourself, this gets a little bit dark sometimes, like what part of me actually likes that, even though there's a part of me rejecting it. Most of the things that we reject in other people, we're either rejecting in ourselves, or we don't understand it. So a great example I heard is, obviously, uh, kids, males and females both, like when they see they're watching a movie or a TV show and they see like two characters kiss, what do? They go ew and they look away because they feel something so powerful in relationship to something that they don't understand. And so what do? When we don't understand something, we criticize and we reject it. So here's in part what you could be doing, which is, I feel something powerful in relation to these types of people, but I don't understand why I feel that way. So I'm gonna kind of reject it and like, okay, I don't want to be a part of that. There's because if we're talking about being a little bit egotistical, like the conversation of ego and confidence, they go hand in hand. They're both incorporated in both of them. So everybody who is confident to a certain degree will have an ego. It really depends on how integrated they are as an individual, not only with themselves as in their relationship with themselves, but the relationship with other people and how they present themselves. Because there's people who can have a big ego, and they present themselves and they sound like a complete asshole. And there's people who have a pretty big ego who present themselves. You're like, oh, that person's kind of intelligent. So there's many different realms to this. But that's the first thing to interact with is like, what part of me kind of rejects this, and what part of it am I kind of rejecting in myself? And the other thing is like asking people questions about it's like, and confronting people. It's like you can just say to them when you're on a date or you're hanging out and you're like, I feel like sometimes you're this way. And you can do it in a flirtatious way or a calming words where it's not like, oh, I feel like sometimes you do this. So we can kind of let their guard down, and they can either be like, oh no, I'm not like that, or they could be like, oh yeah, like I do notice sometimes I'm like that. And now you're in the conversation. Now you're having an open dialogue about it. And then you can start to understand why certain people, I mean, we can on the sessions talk about why people are like that in the first place. There's plenty of different reasons, but in terms of like them as an individual, you'll really get that answer. And so asking them deep questions is really going to be a good in to that internal and deep conversation to understand them. And then it also may give you what exactly you need to realize that there is something between the two of you guys and there is something that's attractive there, or like, okay, I further reject this and like this person just isn't for me. That may come up too, but there, you have your answer now.